So Liam Lawson has been promoted from RB up to the senior Red Bull team for the 2025 season. He'll partner Max Verstappen, and this was a move that in truth we knew was coming for some time. We knew that if Sergio Perez was going to be fired from Red Bull, that it was most likely going to be Liam Lawson that replaced him. I think that's part of the reason why they wanted to bring him in probably as well, RB, just for half a season to get an idea of, basically how good he is and, how good he is right now as well, because he obviously did compete in 2023 as well. Again, that was quite some time ago before he actually made his second debut, if you will, his return to Formula 1. And I'm very excited to see Liam Lawson in that seat for sure. But the flip side of this coin is the fact that Yuki Tsunoda has been ignored for this promotion. And Tsunoda has 4 seasons of experience under his belt at RB. Liam Lawson, even if you combine all of his race starts from 23 and 24, you've only got about 11 races, which is around half a season these days in Formula 1. Indeed, that is actually less than half a season next season, because there's 24 races just like there was this season as well. But I wanted to talk about Tsunoda because I've got some thoughts on this, and whether you think the decision to promote Lawson instead of Tsunoda is right or wrong, I firmly believe now that Tsunoda needs to get out of that Red Bull organization. I'll explain what I mean by that. Now, of course, Tsunoda should be grateful to Red Bull for, supporting him financially through his junior career, giving him his shot in Formula 1 at the AlphaTauri team in 2021 when he made his debut. But now, instead of actually enabling him to have a chance in Formula 1, I actually think now that they're holding him back a little bit. Now, of course, he does have the seat for 2025, and in theory, he's going to be there for the foreseeable future, but I feel like he should go, to be honest with you. Not from Red Bull's point of view. I don't think that he's done badly. I think he's done good. I think he's done really good, to be honest, especially recently. But whether you think it's correct that, Red Bull have this view that Tsunoda is unstable, that he's inconsistent, that he's not ready to be put into that top team, I'm not going to debate that, right? That's kind of irrelevant here, because I feel like at this point, with him obviously being overlooked, he's never going to get that promotion to Red Bull. Because for me, honestly, I will just weigh in on that a little bit. Honestly, I don't think that he's as unstable as what they're trying to make him out to be. I feel like he's matured a lot. Yes, he was very hot-headed when he first joined Formula 1, as a lot of his radio outbursts were. Sometimes it was funny, but sometimes it was just kind of a bit sad, really, to be honest, the way he was having to go at his racing engineer. So I feel like that viewpoint on the whole isn't really that accurate. But even if you think it is, the fact remains that he's never going to get the promotion to Red Bull. He's never going to get that. So for me, that's why Tsunoda probably should be out and trying to get a new drive for 2026. Now, on top of that as well, part of the reason why he was, promoted to AlphaTauri, as it were, in 2021, and why he's kept his seat for so long, part of the reason for that, I think, because remember, back in 22, it was pretty dicey. He was having, in my opinion, he had a pretty bad season in 22, and there were calls from some quarters to get him dropped. He turned it around in 23. I think he was excellent in 23 and 24 as well this season. I think he's been good on the whole too. But part of the reason why he's got that seat is because of the Honda connections. Obviously, he is a Japanese driver. He's the only Japanese driver on the grid. Honda back there, man. And obviously, Red Bull with their powertrain side of things, they are Red Bull powertrains Honda, but not for much longer. Obviously, they're going to partner with Ford for the new regulations that are coming up in 2026. So Honda will no longer be a part of Red Bull's branding and sponsorship sides and stuff like that. For example, Tsunoda has been back in Japan and promoting Honda through some promotional activities, some advertising things, and that's all going to go away, or at least it's not going to be as prevalent. Now, that also will, give him less leverage. Let's say he doesn't have a great season in 25. RB might well get rid of him. Honda doesn't have the leverage of, well, you better keep our driver in there, because they're not going to be a part of the Red Bull organization for 26 onwards. They are, however, going to be the engine suppliers for Aston Martin. And the question always is, it's all well and good saying, oh yeah, Tsunoda needs to leave the Red Bull organization, needs to leave that kind of, the two teams that they've got there in Formula 1. He needs to leave RB after this season, but where's he going to go? And it's difficult, in fairness. I think it's quite tough, because the obvious answer for me would be that Tsunoda goes to Aston Martin. Obviously, they have Fernando Alonso for 2026. I don't know what the contract situation is with Lance Stroll, but for me, getting Tsunoda into that team, and this is not a bold prediction by any, or a bold opinion by any stretch, but for me, Tsunoda is markedly better than Lance Stroll, and he would improve that team. And if they are going to challenge for the World Championship in 2026 when the engine regulations get reset, and I know that might be a bold call, but they've got Fernando Alonso driving the car, they have Adrian Newey designing the car as well, so there is every chance that Aston Martin could produce the best car in 2026. But as we've seen with Red Bull this season, you can have the fastest car or one of the fastest cars, but you need some very good drivers as well. Now don't get me wrong, Tsunoda is not a world beater, but I would say that honestly, if you get, if he has a decent season next season, I think he could stake a claim to be a number 2 driver at a top team. I really do think he's on that kind of level. Certainly, he's been better than Sergio Perez over the past few seasons. Yeah, I wouldn't say he's on the level of the likes of Carlos Sainz and all that, but for me, honestly, I wouldn't say he's that far off of the likes of George Russell in terms of pace. I really do rate him highly. And again, bold call, I know, but have a look at the results between Tsunoda and Lawson this season while they've been teammates. Tsunoda has outraced Liam Lawson by 4-2 this season. He's outqualified him every single Grand Prix. Now, I think there was actually an engine penalty in there in the United States for Liam Lawson, and there's a few other factors in that as well. I don't think it's quite as one-sided between the two of them, but he can more than hold his own. Anybody, I think, can say that. And over the course of a season, I mean, Tsunoda has scored 30 of RB's 46 points. Now, I know that's not on Liam Lawson entirely, he's not done the whole season, but I think that really does show how much of a quality driver Tsunoda is. So, for me, he could absolutely go to Aston Martin in 2026. It's just about whether Lawrence Stroll is going to bite the bullet and admit the truth that his son is not up to standard, because if Aston Martin lose a 2026 F1 Constructors Championship because Lance Stroll is in the car, that would do his son even more reputational damage. And this is a guy who has a lot of reputational damage right now. Now, if you have a look at the grid for 2026, there are some seats that are available. At Alpine, for example, Pierre Gasly signed on, but the second seat is still up for grabs. Currently, that is Jack Doohan. There are rumours, of course, about Franco Colapinto going to that team partway through the season, but could Tsunoda do a job there? Yeah, absolutely. And they're going to have Mercedes power units for 2026 as well. So again, there's a bit of positivity there. Lance Stroll is contracted to Aston Martin for 26, but these contracts can always be changed, particularly when you're the boss's son. That does, of course, help you overall, but at the same time, I think, it makes it easier for things to be changed on the fly, as it were. Not much compensation going Lance Stroll's way for that, I don't think. I can't see that personally. Cadillac is an outside shot. Obviously, they don't have any drivers confirmed for 2026. For me, it's more likely to be a Bottas or a Sergio Perez there. But again, he could do a job there. He could absolutely do a job there. Mercedes is too much of a step up. I don't really see that, to be honest. I see them going with Antonelli and George Russell for the foreseeable future, in all honesty. And if things go pear-shaped with Antonelli, then, Bottas is always there to take up that role, at least on a relatively short-term thing. And aside from that, there's no other seats on the 26 grid that aren't taken up, that aren't, of course, either Racing Bulls or Red Bull Racing. So, here we go, guys. For me, it makes sense for him to go to Aston Martin in 26, if it can happen. I really hope it can. I would love to see Tsunoda in that kind of role. But, yeah, your thoughts in the comments below, guys, because it's a tricky one. It's all well and good saying, oh, yeah, get rid of, get Tsunoda out of the Racing Bulls, get him out of the Red Bull organisation. But admittedly, his options would be pretty limited for 2026. But wherever he goes, it's going to be a risk for both the driver and the team, because he's never driven for another team as well on top of that. And of course, the engine regulations and the aerodynamic regulations all changing for 26 means that the order could be completely jumbled up. But a bit of a longer video. I want to hear your thoughts in the comments below as always, guys. And of course, keep it tuned here for more news and opinion pieces here on the F1Chronicle.com. It may be the Christmas period, it may be the off season right now, but we'll keep you going with more content through this rest of the year, and obviously into 25 as well, guys. So yeah, thanks for all your support. We'll see you very soon for some more content here. Like, share, comment, subscribe, ring the bell as well, and we'll see you soon, guys. Have a good one.